ICT Cabinet Secretary Eliud Owalo has maintained that the government's e-citizen portal was not hacked. According to the CS, this was an attempted cyber attack that aimed at flooding the system with numerous malicious requests intended to paralyze the system. Owalo says that services on the e-citizen platform have resumed. This even as a section of Kenyans reported facing a few hitches, with others also unable to access their mobile banking apps and carry out transactions.
The puzzle over the week-long cyber attack that rendered over 5,000 online government services inaccessible continues, with ICT Cabinet Secretary Eliud Owalo, who was speaking in Murang'a County, refuting claims that the systems were hacked, terming it a distributed denial of service attack on the platform.
A hack means you get into the system and adulterate whatever is domiciled in there, or you interfere with the data that you find there. What they did was to try to jam the system or clog the system by making over and above ordinary levels of requests into the systems so that they interfere with the efficiencies and effectiveness of the platform.
A DDoS attack is a malicious attempt to disrupt the normal traffic of a targeted server, service or network by overwhelming the target or its surrounding infrastructure with a flood of internet traffic. According to Oscar Okwara, a cybersecurity and data privacy expert, the government must not take this at face value, as it may just be part of the crafty strategies adopted by cyber criminals to carry out increasingly destructive attacks.
It may have started as a DDoS, but you can never be sure whether it was only that. Depending on who the threat actors are and what the intentions are, then they may just start at some point, but that could just be like a pivot to other things that they may want to do, say to steal data or to encrypt and make the service fully inaccessible.
CS Owalo also gave an assurance that there was no breach of personal data.
I want to assure all Kenyans that our data is safe. Our mitigation framework around the system repels that attempt.
Okwaro, however, opines that this is a possibility that cannot be ruled out. According to Okwara, cyber criminals look out for such sensitive private data to cause damage.
All this information, if at all that's what happened, then they could put it all together and go and sell it in the dark web. Depending on what the intention could be, that can further be used to cause other damage. They could probably create other accounts, say in a bank under your name, and use that for other crimes. So the risks are really, really many.
A hacker group calling itself Anonymous Sudan claimed to be behind the attack that resulted in a paralysis of essential online services. While the motive behind the attack remains unclear, Okwara insists that the country must wake up to the reality that the cyberspace is slowly turning into the new war front.
As you protect your air, your sea, your land, there is this new sphere that really is very fluid, and unlike the others that the cost of entry was a bit prohibitive, this one is simply you need to buy a phone and have access to the internet, then you can cause as much damage as, say, a whole army.
Prevention of a cyber attack requires a multi-layered approach, he says, but the value of personal responsibility cannot be underestimated.
Some attackers know that it is funny things that go viral. So they're going to make it as funny or as, sensational as it can be, because that will really be shared. And if this is like malware, then it's really going to affect so many people. And once it affects so many people, then probably those who are just to gain foothold into particular target systems that they can now infiltrate and do whatever they want to do. So I insist that the responsibility is on the end user.
Despite the assurance by the government that services on the e-citizen portal had resumed, a section of Kenyans reported facing a few hitches, with others also unable to access mobile banking apps and carry out a transaction. Safin Acheng Oma, Citizen TV.